Hello everyone and welcome back to Chaosville here with your Master of Horror for the evening, Lang and Bedmon. So, been a few changes around here. Now I've got this igneous extruder here that I've been using solely for a quick way of making obsidian. I've got a fair bit of that hanging around, I believe. Have I put it all over here? I think I have. Also, stepped this up a little bit, made it look a bit more polished, and added a second drain, so now whoop, that is a weird thing. Added a second drain for the basin and the casting table, so they can now do both at once. There's my current supply of obsidian. I also have one spare TNT. Mostly what I'm after at the moment is gunpowder, which brings me to the next thing. Before I forget, it appears to be really buggy to use the kettle with things more or less other than the the Foundcraft golems. So presently the only thing I've managed to actually get to work through this thing is the Brew of the Depths. Everything else bugs out, as we saw last time, which seemed to be that it just wasn't getting enough bottles. I don't know how to fix that, short of really expanding this, so for the time being this is largely manual. But maybe in our next location, or later down the line here, then I'll figure something out. But anyways, through here, into the Hell Room, more or less as it were, I've got Duskberries, which give us temporary blindness and then a little bit of night vision. And then I've got Stingberries, which give you a little bit of poison, I believe. Well, no, Stingberries give you mining fatigue and strength. Blight berries are what give you poison, wither at higher levels, and then a longer duration of a regen. And skyberries, which give you slowness and I believe it is it's slowness and jump boost, a little bit of jump boost. So these are all of, as far as I know, all of the berry bushes that you can find in the Nether, and I personally prefer them over the overworld ones. But our main focus for today is through here. So here we have the platform. In the middle of that is my auto spawner, and on one hand we have a hardened energy cell with a furnace generator on. I might upgrade that to the second tier furnace generator, maybe to the molten redstone if I can figure out a decent way of doing that. And on the other side we have a tank, a pair of open blocks tanks to be precise, and a fluiduct that is pulling the contents of these tanks out into the auto spawner. The auto spawner needs power. That's the red bar here, energy, and it needs mob essence. So fill the tank up with mob essence, as I shall demonstrate. I usually take the top one because it's so convenient. And then you stick it there, all the mob essence gets straight into there, shove something like a block of coal into there, and it gets power. And then in here we have my selection of mobs to spawn. So I have, let's see, that is Okami, or Wolf at 1 health. Komori, or Bat at 1 health, Demon at 1 health, that's a fun one, and of course Karipa, which is also at 1 health. And what's fun if I have my witch's robes on, these guys completely ignore me, so I could just stand in here. And this is compressed sand. It's not exactly the most durable of things, but it looks nice, so I might change that to something more durable later on. For now, most of the structure of this area is temporary until I can figure out, until I've gotten far enough into things that we can actually start making it look prettier and stuff. But yeah, what happens is I fill up the tank, I shove something in there, I stick one of my safari nets into the auto spawner, and I farm whatever I need. So I've been using my Arfana to get a bunch of creeper hearts, which I've been turning into gunpowder. So, next question is, where am I getting mob essence? Well, I'm getting mob essence, yeah, it's daylight hours, by coming down here, ow, which would work a lot better if I could actually, like, aim. Usually I can manage to get that, but apparently not this time. Over here. Here works. Yeah, the area that I've been blasting out with obsidian TNT is getting larger and larger. And there. Thank you. Right. Where was I? Besides, apparently dying. Yeek. Nothing else to be so low and efficient, but it'll work. So down here, at the end of this ravine, there is a mob spawner, a fairly standard, basic, vanilla Minecraft zombie spawner. And next to it, I've got a chest, which takes all the drops from this grinder, and another hardened energy cell, and another furnace generator. So I just come down here, I shove my tank there, so all the mob essence can go. I should probably have some kind of actual, like, controllable with a lever or such light system, but for now I've just got this. And then I stick some kind of fuel in the furnace generator, let it power the grinder, and this just gets filled up with mob essence. Fairly straightforward. And I've got a fair few things in here I should probably put used to. And apparently some claws. So I guess some bats flew into here at some point. But for now I'm not carrying any fuel for this, but what I could do with is the way that these traditional mob spawners work is that they check an area and see if its kind of entity, so in this case zombies, has a population of, I believe it's 9 or greater, at which point it stops spawning. And they're also fairly slow. Quite often I'll get maybe 1, maybe 2 zombies out of this thing, and then the grinder will eat them up quickly, but the grinder can actually handle a fair volume of zombies. So what I think I'll do is I will make a force wrench, oh, there it is, and use that to pick up the mob spawner, and then use it to pick up a few more. There's some witches on the surface, there's a abandoned mine shaft not too far from here, I can pick up some cave spider spawners there, and then just have a selection of different mob spawners all spawning into the same area that the grinder is grinding through, so that will greatly accelerate the rate at which I can get mob essence. So, to that end, let us hop back and I shall... No, I'm not carrying a waystone. Why would I be? Because that would be prepared, wouldn't it? Right. So yeah, I'll be using a force wrench to pick up the different spawners. Probably just the one of each, because I don't really need more, and having more would be slightly detrimental to the idea. Aim there. Good. Aim there. Into our little place here. I have a suspicion, actually, with regards to parts of the cover getting cut off. If I do this, it probably becomes quite evident what's going on. So this is F9, and it shows us the different chunks. Now we can see the final blocks are in one chunk, everything else is in this other chunk. And up there, I believe it is, one of them might actually be getting cut off by virtue of this as well. So what's happening, I think, is that we might need to have some kind of chunk loader so that everything is actually still loaded whenever things have to start moving. So that, I think, is a block short, I'm not positive. Okay. Haven't seen much of Bunce freaking out just yet. As near as I can tell, he has been seeing the mobs, and he kind of thinks that some of them might even be that the server is lagging. Oh yeah, I made a net, I'm guessing that says, or something to the effect of. Just sticks and wool, and I've been using that to pick up bees, who are in this chest here. So we've got Infernals and Oblivions so far, neither of which actually produce the Ender Pearls, as you might expect from the look of them. I guess that's something exclusive to bees from the end, which we'll have to look into sooner or later, I suppose. What did I put in here? Oh, this was just a temporary chest while I was moving some stuff around. Because I've now got another one for Magic Wealth, which holds my Farmcraft and Ars Magica kind of stuff in it. But anyways, Force Wrench. So it requires a Force Gear. I do have some sticks on me. Doop, 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 doop. Wooden gear. Still got one spare ME pattern. Not sure what to do with that. Some stone. Gets us that, and now we need force ingots, which I have just the one at the moment, but we have 34 blocks of iron now, so I'm quite happy to spend a little bit of that. Now, the other thing we need to remember is that the Force Wrench does use power in the form of feeding it Force Gems, of which I have over a stack, so I'm not too concerned there. Then I need a few more, that's fine, because I can do it right here, and then just pass it along like that. Perfect. So let's see, I believe it's, yep, F you hit to feed it the Force Gems. And one thing I do know is that you need to be relatively careful with what you pick up with the Force Wrench. You can pick up more or less anything, but it creates an entity with a certain space in memory. It's like every item has various metadata associated with it, including tile entities which have certain data as well. The Force Wrench picks it up without checking how much information that is. So occasionally you pick up you can pick up something which has too much data for the entity it creates to store, and that can corrupt your entire world. So be careful there. It might be a bad idea, is all I'm saying. And yet a wrench. Oh, I think I picked that up as loot. That's part of Ender IO, which I should look into at some point. And I've still got this. I'm not even sure if that should be in there, really. It should probably be in here, along with everything else, and also my farm animals, because I still haven't shifted them. Right, so let's hop on. Oh, it is nighttime, so while we have the opportunity, we'll go pick up a witch spawner. Haven't been out here very much, so let me see. Yep, this has lost a level. So, yeah, I think that's to do with chunk loading. I could be wrong, I'm not positive, but we'll have to see to that later. So, meanwhile, with the story of Sadako Yamamura, and yeah, this is where one of the henges was before I picked it up. So, insufficient fuel, yep, so we'll keep feeding this. 5, 6, 7, 8. And shift, and that is Windows being a pain. Another benefit of doing this is that we do get the drops from the grinder, as you saw before, the rotten flesh and the heads and stuff, so we'll be able to get witch drops now, inside of getting our mob essence running. I think there might be, if I remember correctly, there might be a... Oop, bit of lag while I check this. I think there is actually another dungeon over there, which we can probably pick up while we're out here. So, hop on our broom. Getting a bunch of lag spikes tonight, it seems. Not sure what's causing that. There we go. Okay, Broomy. If you've been watching Nibdy's appearances, and holy balls, what's causing that? Eesh, this is why I don't mess with Dartcraft. Right, if you've been watching Septimus's Chocobo videos, you'll have seen Nibdy appear in them very recently. He is our neighbor to the north at the moment, and let's see, I won't be going west. And you'll have seen Nibdy and his broom mate, because I made him an enchanted broom since I had the resources spare and such. Because I'm a nice neighbor. He's our neighbor just on the island to the north over here. So that's Nibdy's island there. And that's something else he's building. I don't know if he's shown off yet. And actually, if I look carefully... yep, there we are. That is Parv and Will Strife. So let me see. We are... Now, this broom does not behave very well at the best of times when the server's running, but we have gotten some new RAM installed, so hopefully it'll behave a little bit better. So let me see, we are looking for something sinking below the ground. This is one of the great things about being near a desert, is that... Okay, I think I've spotted it. There it is. Oh, there's a dryad taking a bit of an oil bath there. So if we head down here, we should hopefully be able to find a spawner. By the light, I'm hoping it's intact. I don't actually recall if it is. We might be out of luck on that notion. But hang on, there's actually a double spawner. Oh. But it looks like the middle of this is gone as well. Drat, somebody took out both of the spawners. Possibly Nifty, actually. Nifty has been on a bit of a spawner-grabbing frenzy of late. No, but oh well. We don't really have much need for skeleton drops too much anyways. Speaking of which, there's a troop of them. And the mana elementals, who have been mildly revised in appearance. There aren't any spawners inside of the temple. But anyways, we've got a zombie one downstairs, we've got a witch one in our inventory now. So we'll combine those two together, and that will get us a bunch of interesting drops. Some of them are very quite useful. And I'll grab cave spiders later. And there is actually an interesting update coming to Witchery, which includes a new dimension known as the Spirit World, which would be very interesting to access. Do you only access... ostensibly, you only access it through dreams. Like you actually have to go to, create the Brew of Sleeping to enter it, and there is a fairly high chance, if you're not careful. Speaking of careful, look for creepers because they're not going to ignore me right now. That you will encounter a nightmare in the course of that, which looks really cool. Seems like a fantastic kind of thing. Okay, down. Down. This is the cheap and easy and safe way, but I like jumping. Jumping is entertaining. Okay, but the story of Sadako Yamamura. So, the sequence of movies as they were made, bear in mind this is all adapted from a novel, goes Ringu 2, or Spiral 2, depending on who you look at. Rasen is also technically a sequel to it. And then Ring Zero. Ring Zero is a prequel. And it shows you Sadako's life before she got thrown in the well. Okay. That is another spawner. So we have zombie and we have witch. And we'll set up a new location for these machines. Next to where we need the mob essence. We might just have it draining directly into the mob essence section for the spawner. And oh god, 12 zombie heads. Let's see, he, I believe that is. I think that's he. If you can see it on my face, okay, I've got sticky notes all over the place right now, and I'm trying to take advantage of my autistic sense of spatial awareness to memorize the katakana better. So I've just written them all down on sticky notes and stuck them around based on their appearance and associations and such. So, Ru, Ha, and Ri all have very similar styles and looks to them, so they're all in a single group. Ho is actually very unique in terms of things, it's kind of interesting. But then you've got really big groupings. Let me see. No, Rei, N, Shi, Tsu. There's like 6 of them over there on the back of my wall there that are all in the same group. But they're not arranged for any specific meaning. They're not arranged by, like, vowel. That's the one thing I've seen a lot of, is, like, you'll find big katakana charts with all of the letters arranged, like, a vowel and consonant or something. And it's great if you're looking at it academically, but I'm trying to learn it, which is a lot different from me. Sadako Yamamura, was born to a psychic mother, a mother who was a proclaimed psychic, but then she had a failing in a public performance and was branded a fraud. And from there, it prevails that her mother died for reasons that are not entirely understood. And Sadako was left on her own. Sadako, at the age of 4, I believe it was, correctly predicted the eruption of a nearby volcano, but largely kept her psychic abilities to herself, knowing the trouble that they caused to her mother. She, let's see, was taken into care by her abusive uncle, I believe. Let's see, 4, seems to be at least 9. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 8, and a 9. There we go. So easy to dig areas around out here. When she was always somewhat of an outcast amongst the children, and she had sort of a split personality. She had a good side and an evil side, and the evil side was subdued for the majority of her life, more or less until after she died. But her good self was meek and kind. There's the exact nature of Sadako varies between the different media. For example, one of the interesting tidbits that you can find out is that Sadako was a hermaphrodite. Male and, well, depending on where you're looking again, some accounts list her as being psychologically female but physically male. Others list her as being a true hermaphrodite, both sexual organs. Is this going to be bright enough? Because witches aren't going to ignore me. It's my immediate worry. But okay, so if we set the grinder up... 1, 2, 3, 4, 5... Okay, if we set the grinder up to be about here... Yeah, let's have one more block back. Set the grinder there. And then around about here, I think we start adding our spawners. So, witch. That witch. And zombie. And I'll board this up with glass, probably. And let's expand it, because the more room we give these guys to actually spawn in, the better. Because then they'll actually be encouraged to spawn. Okay, what are we looking at on spawn levels? Nothing. Good. And she joined an acting troupe, and weird things started to happen in a mix between her being a young adult at this point and her falling in love with another student who was actually not a douche to her. That's always the way these things go. There's this one person who finally cares for me like a normal human being and all sorts. But then she is... Ring Zero purports that she was murdered by her acting troupe, and her evil sides took over for a moment and murdered them all horribly. But it also... It gets kind of strange and difficult to explain. Sort of like the videotape itself. The actual origins of the videotape vary. Ring Zero reports that there is sort of a prototype that was made, and oh my lord, I've been rambling for ages. Right, well, I'm going to get some more work done on this before next episode, and I'll talk a little bit more about the origin of the videotape next time. So with that in mind, I shall catch you all next time. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like and or a favorite. Follow me on Twitter and subscribe to be notified of future updates. You can also check out the website where most other content is uploaded. That's all for now. Catch you later.